Unit 1 to Unit 2.
What?
We're home.
Base 1 to Unit 1. Base 1 to Unit 1.
Hold it, you mother! Hold it! Police!
There's been a break-in at Democratic headquarters. They were bugging the place.
Woodward, Bernstein, you're both on the story now. Don't get up.
Redford.
I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Mr. Markham, are you here in connection with the Watergate burglary? I'm not here.
Hoffman.
Hi, this is Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post, and I was just wondering if you can remember...
All the President's Men. The story of the two young reporters who cracked the Watergate conspiracy.
White House.
Howard Hunt, please.
He might be in Mr. Colson's office.
Who's Charles Colson? Did you know, Howard Hunt?
Well, the White House said he was doing some investigative work.
What do you say?
They stumbled into leads.
Certainly it comes as no surprise to you that Howard was with the CIA.
No surprise at all.
They tripped over clues.
We'd like to see all the material requested by the White House.
All White House transactions are confidential.
This whole thing is a cover-up. It's right on our nose.
And piece by piece, they solve the greatest detective story in American history.
There is no way the White House can control the investigation.
I don't want to say any more, okay?
Have you been threatened if you tell the truth?
Is there a cover-up?
Don't you understand what you're on to?
Mitchell knew.
Of course, Mitchell knew.
Woodward! Bernstein! Get in here! At times, it looked as if it might cost them their jobs.
You guys are about to write a story that says the former Attorney General, the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in this country, is a crook.
Their reputations.
Why is the Post trying to do it? I don't know.
Perhaps even their lives.
Did Lee Harvey Oswald act alone in the JFK assassination?
I don't know, but I actually had drinks one evening with the guy who jumped on the back of the limousine after Kennedy was shot.
Clint Hill.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was amazing. It was one of the most fascinating nights of my life. And then he worked for Nixon, and I said, what'd you think of Nixon? Nice guy, what? And he just looks at me and goes, and he was in the middle of the Watergate thing, because he says he gets a call. He got a call from someone, the local police department in Washington. The guy said, look, I wanted to let you know that there was a break-in at Watergate Hotel, and you should be aware. And he says, this is a local situation. What are you calling me for? He says, well, a couple of guys had papers from they were with Nixon's reelection committee. So this might be a national or a federal situation. And then he tells this great story where, that Rose Kennedy by then was freaked out and wanted Teddy Kennedy to have protection, wanted him to have Secret Service protection. And so Nixon assigned some of his guys, and it was his guys. And Clint went to Nixon and he said, no, he had some ranking in the Secret Service by that time. He says, no, I'll assign the team to look after Ted. And Nixon said, well, it's already done. I've already decided. And Clint said, I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing. And Nixon says, well, you know what? I'm the president, so fuck you. And Clint said, I'm going to keep my eye. If I find out that your guys have taken any information from the Kennedy campaign and used it the wrong way, I am going to go public with this, and I don't give a shit about my job. And Nixon said, fuck you, get out of my office.
Wait,
Isn't that great?
Let's unpack the historical wizardry that Gandalf just brought to the show. Hold on. So the definitive movie on Watergate is All the President's Men, right? Which it's since been revealed that Deep Throat was Mark Felt with the FBI.
Yes, right.
So, but for years, no one knew. People even had a theory that might have even been Pat Buchanan, of all people, that was Deep Throat. But obviously, there were people in sort of on the local level and in as far up as the FBI, who had a sense of what was going on and what was behind Watergate before the public knew? Right?
I guess so, yeah.
So he gets a phone call. Clint Hill gets a phone call from a guy who says, Watergate just been broken into, and just so you know, some of the people we caught have some paperwork. I mean,
yeah.
First of all, these are brilliant operatives. The plumbers, right? Was it G. Gordon Liddy and those guys? They're brilliant operatives, right?
Yeah,
They've got the papers that track it back to the White House.
They carry that with them while they're burglarizing.
They're so sharp, these guys, that they even have. I mean, it's hilarious. And what's funny about it is somehow these guys must have sold themselves to the Nixon camp, or someone, if not Nixon himself, someone in the camp say, we're the guys for the job. We're on it. And they basically have everything from their own ID to their Boy Scout registry cards on them when they're caught. They're so good at this. But they have enough paperwork, in all seriousness, for them to call Clint and say, hey.
I guess ID, yeah.
Just so you know, this is probably going to be kicked your way. I'm giving you a heads up, which I'm not even sure if that much is legal, but I'm not in a position to actually judge the logic behind making the phone call, because generally investigations, right, the strategy is keep everything wired tight. But here, this guy makes a phone call and says, just so you know, this idiot here claims he's got a get out of free Monopoly card with Nixon's name on it.
Yeah.
And so Clint Hill basically was told, so Nixon at that point decides to get rid of some of the Secret Service who may or send certain Secret Service operatives to Teddy's.
The two situations aren't related, but Rose Kennedy had wanted a Secret Service detail for Teddy Kennedy, and so Nixon just assigned his own people, and Clint said, no, that's not right.
But you're saying that Clint suspected that Nixon was assigning people based on who would probably observe and report things back to him?
That's I believe what Clint suspected, yes. And that's so unfair with a guy like Nixon.
What do you mean it's unfair?
Because he was a pretty straightforward, honest, straight shooting guy, Nixon was. So I don't know what Clint was going on.
Are you being funny at that?
Yes. Okay. No, I'm not being funny. I'm being, I don't know what I'm being.
Was Nixon, in your mind, a straight shooting guy? Straightforward?
No, he wasn't. A crook.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. That's why, look, but it's hard to know with Russ Woody. Being the intrepid TV producer he is, it's hard to know what the facts and what he's actually thinking sometimes.
Look, the jokes, sometimes they go astray. They can't all be gold.
Well, Sybil Shepherd will agree to that one, but we'll get to that story later.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.